Talkback with Christopher Luxon on Kerre Woodham Mornings with pinnaclelife.co.nz. Easy online life insurance. Call 0800 80 1080. News Talk ZB.
News Talk ZB indeed. I am back with Prime Minister Christopher Luxon for our third quarter catch-up. If you have a pertinent, and you'll note that particular word, pertinent question to ask the PM, call us on 0800 80 1080. Many of you have texted through already to 9292. I, however, will get us started. Morning, Prime Minister.
Morning, Kerry.
You just
very good word. You must be well educated.
I am quite well educated because I came through before NCEA, you see. I had an ABCD
Yes.
on my
We got numbers for school cert, didn't we?
That's right. You're just back from Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, great trip actually. Shot out on Monday night, and Papua New Guinea, fascinating place. There's about 10 to 15 million people. Actually, the census can't quite work out which number it is. It's 3/4 the size of all the Pacific Islands added together. It's about 2/3 of the population. So it's a country celebrating its 50th anniversary of independence from Australia in 1975. We're one of the original 8 countries that acknowledged their independence, and we've been good partners. So a lot of interesting things happening. Our militaries are working together up there. They're teaching us jungle warfare. We're teaching them how to use mortars. There's all sorts of things happening. So, a really important relationship.
So they got a Prime Minister to visit them, but the Cooks did not?
The Cooks did not. The Cooks got a Governor-General, the highest office in the land, to visit them. But as you know, we are very proud of the Cook Islands people, but it's the Cook Islands government that we've got an issue with.
We've got a minor issue with. Right. The economy, let's get cracking.
Yep.
It's the economy stupid, basically, isn't it?
Everything's about the economy, cost of living and growth.
You came in basically economy and law and order.
Yep.
So law and order,
health and education.
Yep. Economy, you said we've got the levers to get things cracking.
Yep.
At the moment, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like we're just in the middle of an economic cycle, and nothing you're doing is making a blind bit of difference.
Oh, look, I disagree. I think we've got a grip on the spending, which has actually brought inflation down. That's brought interest rates down.
But you're spending as much, if not more, than the previous admin.
Well, but we've moved the spending from the back office to the front line. So we've added, like, for example, if you take healthcare, despite the media narrative that we're making cuts there, there's nothing further from the truth. We're actually spending a lot more money there. But importantly, we've actually hired 2,100 extra nurses in the system than what we had when we started. We've got 600 more doctors in the system than when we started. All of that is a function of actually moving the money around from the back office, as I said, and reprioritising it and putting it into the frontline services. If you think about the $700 million put into learning support and education, those sorts of things as a function of actually us spending and using the money differently and better by moving it out of the bureaucracy and into the front line. So, there's two big challenges, which is that we've got to get economic growth into the joint, and we've also got to help people with the cost of living through the cost of living. On the cost of living, you've really got to make sure you run the economy well. Otherwise, low and middle income people lose their jobs, and they get hurt this most, right? That's the reality of it.
And look at the unemployment figures
at 5.2%. And just so everyone understands, because I think it's lovely being having the big party and the big spend up, which is what Labor did, but actually the consequences of that are the hangover after the party is quite big. And because when you lose formation on spending, up 84%. Just think about our debt. Our debt has gone from $60 to $180 billion. I pay $10 billion in interest, just in the interest each year now. That's $10 billion of roads, schools, hospitals I can't build. There'll be a hell of a lot of those things as a result. But when you lose formation on spending, you drive up inflation. Inflation, the only thing you can do is take interest rates up. When you take interest rates up, you put the economy into recession and it shrinks. And then the last thing that happens is people lose their jobs because of all that pressure.
And as a result,
so we've got to work our way through that cycle, and that's what we're doing right now. But
I just don't think it's happening quickly enough, because when you promise that it's going to change when they elect a national government, it hasn't changed quickly enough. We've had 124,500 people leave New Zealand to the year May 2025. 46,300 New Zealand citizens have said, I haven't got a job, I don't see the prospect of a job, I'm taking my skills, I'm out of here.
Yep, I get it. And the reason is because you've got to build an economy where people can actually work hard and get ahead. You've got to keep them safe so they feel safe in their community. Their kids have got a good education.
They're sick of waiting.
Yes, I get it, but we've been through periods like this before. We've had 29,000 net migration to Australia this last year, same as 2023. It's actually not as bad as it was through the GFC crisis for 4 or 5 years at that period of time. That's our job. Our job is to make sure we're building out a country that people actually do want to live in, they can get ahead in, they can feel safe, and their kids are going to get educated, their parents are going to get healthcare. That's as simple as it kind of gets. But be under no illusion, because I want people to really understand this, because the simplest thing for me to do would be to carry on taxing more, borrowing more, spending more, and not worrying about our kids and our grandkids having to pay off $180 billion worth of debt. Equally, I could go into full austerity mode and actually cut the thing to the bone and do all that sort of razor gang stuff. That doesn't work either. We know that's not the right case. And I've got to find the midway through as the adult in the room to try and navigate us through that.
Is it harder than you thought it was going to be?
No. I think when you lose formation as badly as we did on economics that we had understood and knew how to manage well for the previous 35 years, we've just gone through the biggest recession we've had since the early 1990s. It's been worse than the GFC. It's been tougher than anything we've experienced in a generation.
Longer.
Yep. And you don't turn it around in 18 months after 6 years of that situation. But having said that, I would sooner have 2.5% inflation in the band where it should be than 7.5% that we had for multiple years. I'd sooner have 4% food inflation, still too high, but actually compared to the 12 to 14% we were getting 2 years ago. So I'd sooner have interest rates coming down the way they have so that people have got $320 a fortnight in their back pocket. But I acknowledge still tough. But there's also some really encouraging things going on.
Okay, and we'll get to those in a moment, but I would like to get to our callers. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you? Nice to talk to you, Prime Minister.
G'day, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. I wouldn't want to do your job for all the tea in China. What a hell of a job you've got in front of you. You know, and I will say this, if I don't mind, before I get to my question. Mate, you're doing the best you can, and if people don't see that, then let's get Labour back in. They can drive us into the ground. Okay, here's the question. I've got 3 children.
Yep.
I came to New Zealand in 2014 from the UK, and I moved here in 2014, and this is, in my opinion, the greatest country in the world, in my opinion.
Oh, thanks for coming, mate.
I'm an employer as well. I started a business. I'm an employer. Here's the interesting thing. 3 children, all good, qualified, well-qualified kids in their 20s, and they've all buggered off to Australia. Why? Well, there's just more opportunity. And I don't mean opportunity. I don't think the streets are paved with gold, but there's a chance. There's a chance you may become a homeowner there. There's a chance you're going to get on. And New Zealand just seems to lack that. What's your strategy to coax them back? Because Australia, they'll pay my middle daughter. They've agreed to pay her student loan off to get her across within a 5-year period. So, what are we going to do? And what can we afford to do?
Yeah,
Thanks,
Mike, you've hit the nail on the head, and it's kind of why I came into politics 4 years ago, because you can sort of sit on the sidelines and say, it's a great country, it's got a lot of potential, and we've got to set it up right for our kids and grandkids. And that's exactly the reason I came into politics, frankly, 4 years ago. But I'll just say to you, you're exactly right. That's the job of our government, is that we have to say to people, we have to build an economy where you can actually work hard and get ahead. You have to be able to live in a society where you're actually safe. You have to be able to know that education's competitive with kids overseas, and you've got to build out healthcare. Now, New South Wales is 35% wealthier than New Zealand. Ireland is now twice as wealthy as New Zealand per person. And so that is a consequence of why you've got to focus on good economic management, because you need a 6-cylinder engine to be able to support 6-cylinder sort of public service delivery and expectations.
But Ireland has changed from a consumer economy to a export led, and we're
Correct.
still.
Well, our exports are actually. This is what I mean.
I know our exports are amazing, and thank God for our farmers, but.
Yep.
But we are still a consumer society, putting our money into houses, and when we're not buying houses and selling houses, we're not doing well.
Yeah, but I think those are the things that, in order, if you take a step back, and I've studied small advanced countries for 30 years, and what do you have to do to make a standard of living, as Mike's alluding to, that is attractive to places like Australia?
Well,
you do a few things. One is you build a world-class education system. So you have more than half your kids going to school regularly, and more than half being able to read by the time they get to high school, and 80% aren't able to do maths. Those are the sort of basics you've got to do. You've got to embrace more technology and innovation like we're doing in some of our sectors so we can get premium prices internationally. You've got to get rid of red tape and bureaucracy because it just slows the boat down. You've got to make sure that you actually have modern, reliable infrastructure. And the last bit is trade and investment. And that's why we're doubling our exports. That's why we're trying to attract investment to New Zealand, because it brings knowledge and know-how. It creates higher paying jobs, puts capital into businesses, but also, access to markets. So the research would tell you, after studying this stuff for a long time, those are the 5 things that we have to do, because Mike's right, we're actually working really hard, but we're still not able to get ahead because over the last 30 years we haven't been able to lift our collective living standards. Now, those 5 things are what those other countries have done, is they have actually raised their standard of living, and that's what our long-term plan is about.
I have a question from a exporter coming up in a moment. News Talk ZB 1016.
Turn your deck into a dream outdoor living space. Archgola designs stunning canopies and blinds. Explore your options today at archgola.co.nz.
When you find people who really care, it makes all the difference. That's what Auckland families say about Kate McLean Home Care. Their wonderful caregivers become like family, helping with everything from making your favourite meal to providing round-the-clock care. Kate McLean Home Care match the perfect caregiver to your unique needs and situation, making sure you receive the highest quality care from trusted professionals who truly understand. Find out more at katemcleanhomecare.co.nz. Trusted care in the comfort of your home.
Don't miss timeless tales of romance with the Auckland Philharmonia. From the evocative, tragic drama of Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet to the playful comedy of Wagner's Die Meistersinger. Prepare to be swept away by Auckland's orchestra. A night of musical delight awaits. The New Zealand Herald premiere series Love Stories. 7:30pm Thursday the 28th of August at Auckland Town Hall. Book now at aucklandphil.nz.
Call Regency Plumbing on 0800 Plumber.
Burst pipe or blocked drain? For fast 24/7 emergency plumbing, call Regency Plumbing on 0800 Plumber. But it's not just emergencies. Big or small, Regency Plumbing do it all. For expert gas installations, new spouting and downpipes, hot water cylinder upgrades, or kitchen and bathroom renovations, call Regency Plumbing on 0800 Plumber.
Call Regency Plumbing on 0800 Plumber.
Hi, Heather Kensley, Investment Manager at Southern Cross Partners Loans and Investments. Talk to us for interest rates from 6.75% per annum. Our self-service portal offers full transparency. Be involved and watch your investments grow. Funds are secured by First Mortgage over New Zealand property with strong equity. Visit southern-cross-partners.co.nz. Kiwis helping Kiwis for over 25 years.
Southern Cross Partners Limited is licensed to provide peer-to-peer lending services under the Financial Markets Conduct Act 2013.
Where style meets innovation, the Peugeot Hybrid SUV range. Drive with confidence thanks to 3 years servicing, 5 years roadside assist and a 5-year warranty all included. Hurry, offer ends September 30. Search Peugeot NZ today.
Hey mate, could you get a hand moving house?
Sure, mate.
Mates a no-show? World Moving and Storage are your best mates on moving day, on time and with their own truck.
World Moving and Storage.
Call 0800 4WORLD.
Digging in to get to the heart of the story. It's Heather Duplessis-Allen Drive.
The government will scrap petrol taxes and replace them instead with road user charges.
Someone is going to have to make this change.
Yep.
We're just recognising reality and we're getting on with it. And
when?
We're doing it in a careful and deliberate way,
But when?
sequenced way. Well, we'll pass legislation next year, and at some point after that, we will do the big switcheroony.
Heather Duplessis-Allen Drive with One New Zealand. Back today at 4, only on News Talk ZB.
Re-migration, a texter makes the point, people don't just up and leave. There's a lot of pain first, then they have to plan. It's not just, I'm going, and they hop on a plane the next day. People leaving now were already thinking about it when the government came in. Rodney, good morning. You sent me an email, but you said you'd like to have put a question to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, Mr. Luxon.
Hey, Rodney.
Look, we're an exporter of machine parts for the last 15 years. Now, we also work closely with NZTE, which they've been really good.
Yep.
But with unemployment continuing to rise, one of the things I'm getting a little bit frustrated with is even them saying, what about moving my manufacturing overseas?
Yeah.
Now, we need to keep manufacturing in this country. The government needs to support us, or else more jobs just will be lost.
Yeah. When you say support, do you mean subsidies to stay here?
Probably make it easier to run a business, actually.
Well, subsidies too, but you can't in a global economy these days. Sorry, that was to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, look, I think what Rodney's saying is, like, we actually want to see an advanced manufacturing sector in New Zealand, and there actually has been over the last 30 years a bit of a hollowing out where actual production has moved off overseas. I think what's different, Rodney, now is in the New World Order, as we're sort of seeing, and the changes that have been taking place in the world. We've gone from globally supply chain efficiency, where you just source the lowest cost product anywhere in the world, and COVID through that period, and subsequently with all the tariffs and other things going on, every country's acting in its national interest, and you've actually got to build some resilience and some capability and in-house capability closer to home. So it's not just about efficient supply chain networks, it's about actually resilient ones. But on your case, what we're trying to do is make sure that businesses like yours can, the trick for New Zealand small and medium enterprises is that the top 10% are about 7 times more productive than the bottom 10%. And the reason is because they've adopted technology. And so what has tended to happen in New Zealand is we've kept doing things, businesses run the same way, the same production processes, manufacturing processes, and then all of a sudden they add more people to the same process rather than actually investing in technology. And so one of the things we're doing is with this investment boost, we're trying to say to people like yourself producing things, actually if we can get you to write off 20% of that investment in that first year through accelerated depreciation through the investment boost program, that will help you move to a much more efficient place and a much more productive place where your business can generate more profit and more returns and through adopting more technology. So we need our manufacturing sector to definitely do that. And then from my point of view, I'm spending a lot of time wanting to double the exports internationally because that's a key part of how we create more wealth in the country. And that's about us opening up lots of new markets. And then New Zealand businesses have to get on a plane and they have to go learn these markets. Who are their partners? Who are their customers? Who do they distribute their products through and why and how much money they make in each of those different places. And I think that literacy is improving amongst our exporters quite a bit over even in the last 18 months, I feel. So, so we really want you to stay in New Zealand, but you've got to build a great business, great culture, great customer, great commercials. And then you've got to be able to, we're going to do things like accelerating that growth through investment boost to encourage you to adopt more technology, plant capital equipment, and then get into those overseas markets.
News Talk ZB 1023.
Hi, I'm Andrew Kelleher, Director at JMI Wealth. Investment markets can be tough to navigate. That's why we're strong believers in using investment experts to help you with your hard-earned retirement savings. At JMI Wealth, we now offer the JMI Wealth KiwiSaver scheme. So to use our decades of experience to help you achieve your retirement goals, visit jmiwealth.co.nz. JMI Wealth, investing for generations.
Smartshares Limited is the issuer of the JMI Wealth KiwiSaver scheme. A product disclosure statement is available for download at jmiwealth.co.nz.
Discover aged care that puts comfort, connection and dignity first at Manurewa's Elmwood Village by Oceania. A place where personalised care brings out the best in every day for every resident. Whether it's rest home or hospital level care, the light-filled care suites, delicious comfort food and warm, respectful support mean your loved one will always feel right at home, giving you peace of mind they're in great hands. To learn more about Elmwood, visit oceaniahealthcare.co.nz. Oceania, believe in better.
This is your business. This is your business supercharged with the help of Xero accounting software. This is managing cash flow. This is managing your cash flow with the help of Xero accounting software. These are your customers paying you. These are your customers having more ways to pay you with the help of Xero accounting software. This is your business supercharged with the help of Xero, helping you sort your cash flow by giving your customers more ways to pay, so now you can focus on making your business boom. Supercharge your business today with the help of Xero.
Search Xero with an X. I remember it like it was yesterday, cruising the streets of New York, riding with one very happy man. We took those midtown corners at quite a pace. Ho-ha! These days I'm more content off-road and undercover, and a classic Ferrari like me needs Star Insure's special protection. Escape the ordinary with the insurance your classic car would choose. Ho-ha! Get a quote from starinsure.co.nz.
Dress your home to impress at Danske Møbler's huge dining and occasional furniture sale. Enjoy massive savings on the latest dining tables and chairs, sideboards, china cabinets, coffee tables, and more at Danske Møbler. Furniture for living.
Today only, Briscoe's $50 deal day is back with incredible $50 deals and massive store-wide savings, plus free delivery on standard orders over $50. Stores open till 9 p.m. and shop online anytime. Today only at Briscoe's. See online for T's and C's.
Worldwide on iHeartRadio. Kerre Woodham Mornings. Engaging conversation on News Talk ZB.
Well, Kerre Woodham Mornings and the Christopher Luxon are. Steve, a question for the Prime Minister.
Yeah, hi, Prime Minister.
G'day, Steve.
Prime Minister. G'day. I know you're between a rock and a hard place with the economy. There's not really any more levers you can pull to do much, and you guys are treading water, and it's a PR machine just to gloss over while you pray that somehow it's going to pick up. Look,
Steve, you sound so fatalistic, mate.
Oh, no, look,
we've got to die trying.
You guys know, the trips to India, the rest of it, it's just a big, glossy PR stunt, hoping for the best. There's one lever you have yet to pull, and I think you know that, for the short-term sugar hit that will bring something into this economy, and that's a foreign buyers ban. If that comes off, you know that'll bring a bit of money in, and that'll have a proper tangible effect rather than just being all talk. The one other thing is that's not going to happen with Winston, of course.
I was just going to say the Winston factor is a big one there.
All right.
Yeah, there's one other thing bothering me, Prime Minister. I know you can't do much about that, so I don't really care about the economy. It'll do what it's going to do regardless of what you guys say, right? But look, what does bother me is that you have the ability to do something about law and order, and we don't hear enough about you. You've got these babies dying almost on a weekly basis. Don't hear a thing from you, mate.
Well, can I take the first one, which is, and I'll come to the second one, on foreign buyers. That is a conversation that Winston and I are having, so watch this space. Let's see whether we can make some progress through that one.
How will you get him to change his mind? What bauble are you able to offer?
No. I think actually both of us recognise that if people are going to come to this country and make an investment and partner with a New Zealand company, think about a technology person in San Francisco wanting to come out here. They don't want to rent a house in Auckland. They want to be able to buy a house. And you think about what's happening in places like Tara Iti up the road from Auckland. You've got massive investment, 140 Americans here building, $20 million plus homes, all that sort of stuff. So there has to be a way through that. So we watch the space. It might be a bit more positive than Steve thinks. I'd just say on Steve, I think there are, mate, if I started the day just thinking there's nothing I can do on the economy, and this is why I came to politics 4 years ago, just to sort of window dress things as you sort of suggest, we are fundamentally going to change the planning system in this country, and that is a lot of work. Fast track is our way initially of getting that up and running and doing that stuff. But, it takes 19 months to build a house. It's going to get inspected 14 times by the council, and it's 50% more expensive than Australia to build. We've opened up overseas building products just in the last few weeks, so we can do that. We've got our investment boost to get people to invest in technology so they can write off 20% of those assets. We've got the FTAs and the trade. You might think it's window dressing. I'm telling you, when actually your exports are up 29% to Europe, 21% to the UK, 6% to the US. You've got dairy up, 16%. You've got horticulture up 19%, meat up 8%. All of those things, that is actually really good. And our services and our technology and the stuff we're doing in renewables in different parts of the world, infrastructure investment, engineering. So there's some really good activity happening in that international space.
There's something else that Dr. Rosie Fennick has sent in an email. Says New Zealand needs to be more productive, innovative and competitive in fields other than agriculture.
Correct.
To incentivise businesses to grow or relocate here, see Ireland. Have you considered changing the structure and size of the company tax rate and matching or even undercutting Australia? Currently our rate is a flat 28%. Australia's rate for businesses turning over more than 50 million is 30%. The rate is 25% for companies with a lower turnover. I propose a flat rate of 25% for companies with a turnover of less than 5 mil, regardless of assets, 17 to 20% for companies with a turnover between 5 and 40 million, and we keep the current rate of 28% for companies with a turnover greater than 40 million.
Yeah, so that's a really good challenge, because actually tax policy and attracting investment is actually a key element of it.
That's right.
But that's not something we're considering right now. But I certainly would be open for looking at corporate tax rate, because it's not something we could frankly afford right now, as we sit in this part of the cycle. But what we've got to do is be able to make it much easier for people to actually come in from overseas, know that if they're going to invest in a project, it's going to get built. We've got a terrible reputation of being a place that actually doesn't welcome foreign capital, doesn't actually partner it up well with our big infrastructure. We've got, after that infrastructure summit, we had a big Canadian infrastructure firm partner with Tainui to build out the super hub at Ruakura. We've got 3 consortium that have come together. They're going to partner with the government to build the road from Auckland to Whangarei. Now, if I just wait and do that all on my own, it's going to be 2080 or something like that, and we'll just keep talking about it we have for the last 40 years. Or otherwise we try and find a way to use funding and financing from private sector and from international investors to get things done quicker and faster. On the law and order front, can I tackle that?
I think you've done quite a bit on the law and order. You've probably got a minute.
Well, I'll just say we've gone after gangs hard. Violent crime's down. There's 28,000 less people being impacted by violent crime. First time in a long time. The actual numbers are down. Young offenders is down. Ram raids we used to talk about every day, down 60%. And we've actually extended out the sentencing. And yes, we've had to build out an 800-room, prison, but we've made so judges actually can't discount sentences and actually going to get serious time. And as a result, there's more people in prison. But that is a function of us actually getting on top of crime. Crime is for real coming down. People are actually feeling it, and there's more to do for sure. But just think about 3 strikes, the stalking laws, all the other things that we've been putting through the system on law and order. I'm actually really proud of the progress there.
Yeah, the abuse in families,
big issue still. Yep, agree.
And has
family
been
violence,
has been for such a long time.
Yep.
Everybody has a baby. Mine is Delcelia Whitaker. She would be 36 if her parents hadn't killed her. News Talk ZB 10:31.
News Talk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Running a business, here's one day that's worth it. Now we're getting reports of a crash on the southern motorway between Te Irirangi and East Tamaki and a breakdown between Ellerslie and Green Lane. That's all city-bound. If you can update us further, 0800 jammed. The northern city-bound slow at Upper Harbour. Power Up 25. One day, big ideas, 12th of August, Auckland. Tickets at smartly.co.nz.
At Bunnings, we know your kitchen is a place where everyone comes together, which is why we bring everyone together for your kitchen. We've got plenty of inspiration for you in store. Head to our Kitchen Design Centre and check out our stunning range of caboodle kitchens. Have a chat to our kitchen design experts about your plans. You can even arrange a kitchen expert to come to your home. And when you've got your design sorted, we've got in-aisle experts in paint, flooring and lighting to help you get everything else for your kitchen. Bunnings is where kitchens come together.
Ladies, is the need to wee all the time making your life a misery? Caruso's Wee Wees to the rescue. Caruso's Wee Wees supports normal urinary frequency, bladder health and function, as well as urinary tract health and function. So if your need to wee all the time is getting in the way of your social life, try Caruso's Wee Wees. Caruso's Wee Wees comes with a 100% money-back guarantee and is available from Chemist Warehouse. Read the label and use as directed. Caruso's Health Sydney.
The essence of Norwegian furniture is timeless design, top quality craftsmanship and functionality. Stressless recliners at Danske Møbler Furniture offer all these elements with the added benefit of exceptional comfort from exclusive features. Discover how the chair moves in harmony with your body. It feels like you're floating on air. And right now, save up to $1,000 at the Stressless Made in Norway sale. Stressless luxury recliners made in Norway, exclusive to Danske Møbler Furniture.
My pile of laundry's done in a flash at Liquid Laundromat.
Do you cringe thinking about your dreaded power bill every time you turn the dryer on? Save yourself some money and your sanity. At Liquid Laundromat, you can dry 3 loads from just $5 and even larger loads of 4 or more from just $6. Plus, for every $100 spend on your Liquid card, they'll add a $5 bonus. So take a load off. Visit liquidlaundromats.com.
News Talk ZB headlines.
With Blue Bubble taxis, it's no trouble with a Blue Bubble. Our 5-year high for unemployment at 5.2% is expected to bolster the case for dropping the OCR another 25 basis points in 2 weeks. The Nurses Union is rejecting a Hatohone St John's claim that stopping therapy pets and hospital volunteers and community carers programs isn't about cutting cost. The first round of the $190 million social investment fund will prioritise helping under-12s who've gotten into trouble at school and children with parents who've been in jail or gone through care. 2 people are in hospital, one stabbed, the other believed to have suffered a medical event after an incident at a property in Christchurch's Linwood overnight. Finance Minister Nicola Willis is continuing to push the case for government plans to replace the NCEA school qualifications, saying it's been a fiscal, economic and moral disaster. Te Papa's colossal squid, the world's only complete specimen on public display, has reached a 100-year milestone. It was first named by scientists in 1925. Communities in a rural police shake-up are warned to fight hard and not give up. You can read more at NZ Herald Premium. Now back to Kerre Woodham.
Susie, thank you. Just before we go to Glenn on PHO funding for rural GPs, the child abuse, I just don't know.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, it's a shameful record in New Zealand family violence, and it's hard. It's really hard. But I just say there are some real pockets of organisations that are working really well with some of these situations, the perpetrators of family violence as well as the victims of it. And we've got to get money through the social investment model that we're talking about to really do things creatively and differently and innovatively and do more of what works and less of what doesn't work. I had a real privilege to sit in a situation in Christchurch recently where all the government agencies actually work together on identifying families that actually have, would have a propensity for family violence and what interventions are actually needed, and they're sharing information well between each of the agencies.
Wasn't that the Bill English Tariana Turia model
Yeah, we call that social investment as the Bill English model, which Nicola Willis, as the finance minister, is also social investment, is trying to find creative ways to deal with some of our intractable social problems, which are pretty tough and pretty hard. Family violence is the one that I'm most fixated on. But I saw some very good work in Christchurch where there'd been a 53% reduction in family violence, homicides, for example, by virtue of these agencies working incredibly well together, being very data driven and sharing the information between the agencies in a very formalised way as a combined team, working together each and every day on the 35 cases that will come through the system overnight, typically in a city like Christchurch or an area like Canterbury.
Okay,
so there is some hope.
The meth use means that even decent people are going to turn into monsters in some cases.
Yep.
You say, a texter says, you say you've been tough on law and order, but gang numbers are over 10,000, meth's doubled in the last 12 months.
Yeah, well, the gangs are 1/4 of 1% of the population of New Zealand, driving 1/4 of 25% of all our violent crime. And I appreciate you've seen the gang list numbers go up, but actually when you think about the presence of gangs in the communities, you're not seeing it as much as you were, the intimidating behaviour. But that gang patch stuff is enabling us to get into illegal guns, illegal drugs, because they are the organised crime distribution arms for methamphetamine in New Zealand. And as you know, meth is a major problem because actually other drug consumption's probably come down, meth has gone up because New Zealand is 15 times more expensive for meth than it is in, say, the US. And as a result, for the first time, we've seen a massive drive of Mexican, North American crime, syndicates coming in and bringing drugs into the Pacific and then down into Australia, New Zealand. If you talk to Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, it's now evident all through there as well. So we've got to do a better job of protecting the border in the Pacific. It's pretty hard with all that ocean. We've had submersible submarines come in from South America, all sorts of things bringing in drugs, as well as obviously coming down through the other route, through Malaysia, through the Golden Triangle. Then we've got to smash up the gangs and the distribution and put real pressure. We are doing that. I mean, actually, violent crime is down, and they were driving the vast majority of violent crime in New Zealand, or a big part of it. And when you think about our numbers being 28,000 less people now impacted by violent crime than there was, that's a good start. We've got to keep pushing hard on that and have zero tolerance on gangs. And then thirdly, we've got to be able to find a way to get better people, better addiction and better healing services fundamentally.
Yeah, we really do.
And every family in New Zealand's got a cousin or got someone impacted through the effects of meth, know someone.
Yeah, it's crosses all borders. Glenn, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, Prime Minister.
G'day, Glenn.
Thank you very much for your time. Hey, Prime Minister, question about PHO funding. Our one's well south, and that's flowing through to frontline GP services.
Yep.
So, now, I don't want you to comment on specifics of our thing, but last month, Well South informed us they were halving their funding that they've been paying us since 2016. And I was having a look, and since 2016, their funding has doubled from 62 to 118 million, so that's great. They were spending 8 million internally, now they're spending 20 million internally, and last year they ran out of stuff to spend money on, so they've got 3 million in the bank from their cash flows.
Yeah.
So when you had your cabinet meeting and you were discussing the health budget, and you had yourself and Minister Brown. Mr. Brown and the CE of Te Whatuora, was it your intention that PHOs like Well South would spend 2.5 times more internally and halve the funding to rural GPs?
No, mate. And you've actually hit on the core issue, which is that we have put more money into healthcare than we've ever put in the history of New Zealand. In fact, 1 out of every $5 of government expenditure is now in healthcare. We've actually hired more nurses and more doctors. Yes, we've got challenges in regional New Zealand, provincial New Zealand, and in specialist areas. We've got to get the right people in the right places still, but we've made some good progress in 18 months on that case. And then we've got clear targets, but the inefficiency is in Health New Zealand. We've built massive bureaucracy in there. There's 2,500 extra managers, and the same thing's happening in PHO. So that's why Simeon's...
they're lower level, eh?
Yeah, and so what's happened, we've got to break that mentality because the money's got to flow through to the GPs, given the challenges we've got on GPs. We've got the biggest increase in capitation, as you'll be aware, but the PHO model is a very good thing to question, and Simeon Brown is looking at it because we've made some changes just recently for some of those big providers, for example, of GP services to actually do almost standalone and go outside the PHO process because they should not be doing that. They need the money to flow through to the GPs, not collect it in the bureaucracy of the healthcare system. I think in health, we've got money, we've got people building, we've got targets clarity, but we've got an organisational problem with bureaucracy, and that is where we lose the money, and that just cannot happen, and that's why I've got Simeon, really, it's an organisational challenge. Health New Zealand is the 4th largest organisation in Australia and New Zealand, so it's a big entity, but it's got to be, it's a good challenge for a CEO to sit in there and actually sort it out and make sure it's actually getting the money from the government out to the front line where it's got to get to.
It's 19 to 11.
It's a good question, that one.
Weekdays at 4:20, Heather Duplessis-Allen catches up with the very latest in sports news thanks to TAB, your home for sports multis, in-play betting and power plays. Download the TAB app to get your bet on with all your favourite sports. And when you join TAB, they'll match your first deposit up to $50 in bonus cash. R18, bet responsibly. 4:20 weekdays, Heather talks sport thanks to TAB. Only on News Talk ZB.
Harvey here with hot half-price deals from HRV. Buy a new HRV home ventilation system this month and you'll get 50% off your choice of extra. Novo panel heaters, bathroom extractors, underbench water systems, all half price. Call HRV on 0800 478 123 today. T's and C's apply, excludes HRV Classic and HRV Waikato.
HRV for a drier, warmer, healthier home.
When it comes to international cricket, there's only one rivalry that transcends every fabric of society, and that is India versus Pakistan. I'm G Lane, and in association with Bonds Chafe-Off Undies, The Agenda presents Versus, the podcast series that looks into the sporting rivalries that have been etched into the history books, and this one is a spicy meatball. To listen, search The Agenda on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts and tune into Versus, all thanks to Bonds Chafe-Off, Bonds' innovative range of friction-free undies.
The unconventional has arrived. Smart #1 and #3 electric SUVs are turning heads across New Zealand. Stylish, powerful and built for city life. Smart is here from $59,990 plus on-road costs. Book your test drive today at Armstrong's.
Amazing deals on now at Harvey Norman. Get massive bed linen deals like duvets, pillows and sheet sets. Plus huge bedroom furniture deals like Olivia bed frames. Upsize from a queen to a king or super king for the same price. Amazing deals on now at Harvey Norman.
Today only, Briscoe's $50 deal day is back with incredible $50 deals and massive store-wide savings, plus free delivery on standard orders over $50. Stores open till 9 p.m. and shop online anytime. Today only at Briscoe's. See online for T's and C's.
Bunnings has great value nailed across the store.
A Garden Time 30-litre strawberry mix, only $12.85. 4-pack of strawberry Monterey plants, just $12.68. Head in store or online for even more great value.
Bunnings Warehouse. Christopher Luxon taking your calls on 0800 80 1080 on Kerre Woodham Mornings with Pinnacle Life. Get a life insurance quote in just 30 seconds. News Talk ZB.
News Talk ZB, 10:45. So frustrating with the ads. I'm very disrespectful to the Prime Minister. I know, I'm really sorry. I was saying the same thing. It'd be easier if we were national radio.
I actually really like this format because you do actually get to discuss an issue a bit deeper than you do on my 3 to 6 second grab on the TVNZ News. You know what I mean? It's sort of actually quite a good format.
I know, but, you know, if we had subsidies, then we'd have 15 producers out there and there'd be 3 of me.
We did pull back Radio New Zealand's budget this year, Kerry, just so you know.
Frustrating to hear money has been generously spent in health. In actual fact, there's been huge staffing shortages where I am due to restrictions on replacing staff who leave. And I've heard that from other nurses.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've put $17 billion extra in last year. We've put another 7% increase, 6% per capita in 2025 budget. So there is plenty of money going in. We actually have hired 2,100 extra nurses. We've hired 600 more doctors into Health New Zealand. And actually, if you think about nurse pay, for example, it's gone up 74% since 2011.
I know, but they're not replacing staff.
No, but the issue is then what you've seen also, though, is attrition. People leaving the system is actually coming down. So it's gone from 14 down to 8%. But your point is a fair one. Where we've got real challenges is in regional, provincial New Zealand.
But it's my 3 nurses who've said,
yep,
I can't work harder. You know,
no, they're doing an incredible job. The nurses are doing an incredible job, and the doctors are too.
The staff who leave are not being replaced.
Yep. The thing is, they should be, because there's plenty of money in the system and there's plenty of extra people in the system, and we've got to now try and get the third medical school's a desire to get the provincial doctors out and the nurses out, and we've got challenges in mental health and some specialist roles as well. So that's
why aren't they being hired? If there's money there and nurses there, why aren't they being hired?
Well, they are. There is just not in this particular circumstance.
3 particular circumstances.
Yep, get it. But I'm just saying to you, in aggregate, there is now 2,100 extra nurses in the system on top of what we had when we started.
And I think that's a real issue. It's a real problem when you say we've got more nurses and you go, not next to me. when I'm on the ward.
And that's what I'm admitting.
Or the economy's doing better, not in my household.
No, that's right. And so I get that. I really understand that. I've got to try and solve initially from where we were, where we're losing 14% of our nurses every year out of the New Zealand healthcare system, to a place now where we're losing 8%, which is about sort of what normal attrition would be. I've got to do everything I can to put the money in at a system level, but I agree with you completely. You know, we have big gaps of support in key parts of our healthcare system, and we've actually got the money going and we've got the people being hired, but they're not being deployed in the right places, or there's more work to do to get them perfectly deployed into the right places. So
who fixes that?
Well, so for example, you know, we know we've got a challenge in provincial and rural health in New Zealand, right? It's really hard because you get efficiencies in a big city and you can end up with postcode lottery as a result.
Yeah,
so
which is what we have got.
Yep, and so what we've done is said, like, if you're a GP in a regional New Zealand area, we will give you $20,000 to go off and actually hire that extra nurse that you might need. We're trying to put 450 more nurse places into what's called nurse practitioner or nurse prescriber training to build out the system that we're going to need for the future. But you're also changing the wheel while you're driving, and there are shortages in key places across New Zealand as every day, and that is the reality of the system right now. And that's why I keep coming back to, you can put the money in, you can put the people in, but if you've got a massive bureaucracy that actually then isn't focused on getting that through the bureaucracy out to the front line to support our doctors and nurses who are doing a kick-ass job, that's what we've got to work on.
Yeah, see, I'd rather see announcements than that than on bloody pay wave, that's for sure. That was disappointing.
What do you mean in terms of? In
terms of, you know, big thundering, here we're going to help the consumer and we're going to do amazing things and you're going to feel it and it's going to be incredible. And all you're doing is putting the charges for using PayWave onto the small and medium businesses.
No, what happened there, just so you know, was the Commerce Commission came out and actually reduced the fees that the banks and Visa and MasterCard can charge businesses by about $90 million. We also know that some retailers are charging more than what the transaction actually costs to deliver by about $65 million. And so what we've done is said, look, we're going to make sure that gets passed through to the consumer, to the public, because actually they're the ones that are paying for that.
But they'll just put up the prices. But anyway.
Well, the little bit that they might have to pay, they will have to build it into their price, but it's not the same. If you know, there's no, you know, I've seen 3.5% sticker charges on an FPOS terminal, right? It doesn't cost 3.5% to do that transaction.
I know. It just seemed, you know, that was very rats
well, that's a
and mice.
Practical cost of living initiative that we should. It's common sense, right?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Why?
I don't, because I'm going to end up paying more. I swipe. And other people who tap and go are quite happy to pay for the privilege.
Yeah, but I think we should try and make sure it's surcharge free. And if businesses have got a legitimate cost, they'll build it into their pricing. I get that. But I just say to you, by the time the Commerce Commission has ruled out and lowered the fees that the banks can charge those merchants, and we've also seen some excessive charging, that's probably the cleanest, simplest way to get the right behaviour and the right incentives in place.
Okay. Hi, Kerre.
I just got the look, listeners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm been working 45, 50 hours a week, Monday to Friday. I own a business and I run that on the weekends. Christmas time, I am pulling the pin of running my business because of all the tax that I have to pay. Tax, ACC, I mean, I'm sure you know, GST and everything else. My wife and I, who run the business, in and out of hospital, left, right and centre, because our bodies can't hack it anymore. We've been doing this for 10 years. And I know you didn't put us into this situation, but I tell you what, people are sick and tired of hearing all the stories that you and all your other guys say, you're going to do this, or we've done that, or the reason why we're in this situation is because of Labour. When are things actually going to stop being talked about and actually happen? Because I'm going to run myself into a grave. I've got grandkids who adore me and love me and want me to be around.
Absolutely.
Yet I am struggling and I work 80 to 90 hours a week.
Yep.
And that's it. That's what I was saying before, that disconnect between hearing that the economy's doing better. He's exhausted.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's really tough. It's really hard. And this is the consequence of a recession that we've had for 3 years. It's been the toughest since the early 1990s. That is the reality of what's happened in New Zealand. And, you know, there you've got a situation where someone's working incredibly hard, cannot get ahead, and is actually putting huge stress and pressure into their life, into their family's life. And I get that and I understand that. That is the consequence of not managing an economy well.
We were told survive to 25. here's 25. When will people start to feel better?
Well, I mean, again, this doesn't help an individual circumstances going through a really difficult and tough time. But at the macro level, the economists are saying to us we're peaking with unemployment. We're expecting 2.7% growth. We're expecting to create 240,000 jobs in the next 4 years by virtue of the long-term plan, economic plan that we've put in place and that we've been implementing. But you've got a challenge here. One is we've got to run the economic stuff really well, which is the big picture stuff, which all sounds very numbers trace. We've got a plan for how we grow the future and get more wealth into the country. But in the short term, you've got people wrestling with the cost of living. They had 3 years of inflation going through the roof. Life is hard, right? Yeah. So we can support the cost of living as best we can in targeted ways, but we've got to get growth into the economy so that people can get ahead.
And when?
Well, we expect unemployment start trending down. It's supposed to peak now, come down, and then we expect growth to be taking place 2.7% over the next 4 years on average each and every year.
Thank you very much. It is 7 to 11.
Start your weekend up to speed with the very latest in the world of sport on the All Sport Breakfast with GJ Gardner Homes. The team at GJ Gardner Homes are great supporters of sport, from grassroots through to the main stage. So, if you're looking to build, choose New Zealand's most trusted home builder, GJ Gardner Homes. The All Sport Breakfast has your weekend sports setup covered. Saturday, 7 till 9, thanks to GJ Gardner Homes and only on News Talk ZB.
Secure a premium industrial or commercial unit in Hamilton's Orient Innovation Park and enjoy a true 5.5% net return from day one. Strategically located in Te Rapa, the development offers a selection of 22 live-work units, 20 premium industrial units, or a 2-level showroom office unit. A limited opportunity exists for any unit to be sold with a 2-year lease in place, delivering immediate returns from settlement. Call Bailey's on 0508 Orient to qualify and learn more. Licence REAA 2008.
This is your business. This is your business supercharged with the help of zero accounting software. This is managing cash flow. This is managing your cash flow with the help of zero accounting software. These are your customers paying you. These are your customers having more ways to pay you with the help of zero accounting software. This is your business supercharged with the help of Zero, helping you sort your cash flow by giving your customers more ways to pay, so now you can focus on making your business boom! Supercharge your business today with the help of Zero. Search Zero with an X!
Go Harvey Norman today, your home of amazing deals. Amazing deals on home appliances, TVs, computers, technology, furniture, bedding and more. Best brands, best range, best prices guaranteed. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. Shop Harvey Norman today, your home of amazing deals.
Go! Power Up 25 is the newest event designed for Kiwi business owners who want to grow smarter. One day packed with expert insights on AI, automation, payroll, HR, leadership and more. No fluff, just practical tools you can use. Dewdrop Event Centre, August 12th. Tickets at smartly.co.nz.
Jump into your spring spruce up with low price essentials from The Warehouse. Take it outside with 30 seconds cleaners from $10 and hit kitchen and laundry spots with Schultz pods for $9. Clean up with everyday low prices at The Warehouse. Conditions apply.
The exciting Cupra range is ready to experience at Giltrap Cupra. Cupra redefines performance, sophistication and design. Cupra is more than a car brand, and we are more than a car dealership. Giltrap Cupra, Grey Lynn, North Shore.
News Talk ZB, well that's it. I am sorry. If we didn't have ads, then there would have been more time. And some people are saying he talks too fast, but you've got so much that you want to deliver.
Yeah.
It has been, I'm kind of with Kerre. It still feels a bit meh. And
it's hard because I'm trying to communicate a lot of context for why we're making the decisions that we're making, or what's actually happening,
how you're building
and how we're trying
structure.
to build it up, and how we're trying to work our way through a difficult situation. So apologies for talking too fast.
I know,
but I'm trying to convey a lot of information because actually people are asking really good questions, and it is difficult and tough dealing with the cost of living and working their way through it. And I'm trying to say I've got to get the long run stuff right for our kids and our grandkids. I've got, I do believe we've got an awesome future in this country. I honestly do. It's why I came 4 years ago, because there are no excuses for why we shouldn't be able to do really well for ourselves and our kids and our grandkids. And
we've got examples of other countries that have done
We do, and we've actually got examples of it already happening in parts of New Zealand. Now, we don't always tell the good news stories, and I don't want that to be glib and to be disingenuous to people doing it tough at all, but I just want to encourage everybody, there are no reasons why we can't build a great country here, and we can't have the best damn small country on earth, period. We just have to go to work, though, and have some ambition and aspiration and some positivity and some can-do and some drive to make it happen.
Yes. And I suppose, your slogan could be, well, you might think we're a bit shit, but the other lot are worse. Labour, Greens, Te Pāti Māori, anybody?
Well, it's just, I don't really care about that. I just want to get on and get the show sorted, get the country growing.
All right, Max McNown is your choice. Forever Ain't Long Enough.
Yeah, great 24-year-old kid out of Oregon. What's that?
Prime Minister for life.
That's a great way to end the show.
So 24-year-old out of Oregon.
Now living in Nashville, great songwriter, doing some good stuff.
Forever Ain't Long Enough. Thank you for your time once again, Prime Minister.
Good to see you, Kerry.